Hello, this is William Clark again for the Last Stand podcast, and this is number 11 in the series of book promotions and writing promotions that I've been putting on YouTube. Again, this is number 11. I'm very proud of the fact that I've gotten this far, and the response has been absolutely terrific, and I want to thank you guys all for thumbs up, because that's an encouragement for me. That you have no idea how much that means to me. But what I want to talk about today real quick, and by the way, it's Sunday, and it's very hot here in Michigan, hot and sticky. But you know what? The heat doesn't last here. We have the 4 seasons, and before you know it, it's going to be fall. Leaves are going to be falling, which is my favorite time of year. Anyway, I digress. Today, for this particular bit of podcasting, I want to talk about secrets. Secrets. And you know how corrosive they can be. Secrets. Now, they come in all forms: family infidelities, business dishonesty, lying on job applications, or secrets that are kind of classified as government necessity. What do I mean by that? When I worked for the Department of Energy as a CAT team coordinator, CAT team leader, my job was to travel the country with this group of specialized guys who were security officers from various facilities in the United States, and we formed a team that would do force-on-force exercise drills against nuclear power facilities to test their security. They were quite extensive, they were congressionally mandated, and they were a very big deal. And in order to do these drills, and in order to be part of these programs, I had to have a Q clearance. I had a Q clearance. And an SCCI clearance, top secret, because I was working around nuclear power facilities, nuclear fuel, and it's very, 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 very tightly watched over, let's put it that way. So to get access to all these facilities, I had to have this clearance. And it was a government clearance, government Q clearance. And I had it for years, about 7 years. And it's a very big deal to get it. You have to take a polygraph, lifestyle polygraph. You go through quite an investigation process, an SF-86 form. They check your family out. I mean, it's a big deal. And I got my clearance. And I remember the day I got it. It made me feel different. Now, how do I explain that? I was now being allowed into the club of secrets, government secrets. And I knew that things had changed for me because I was in this club. I had opportunities I would never have gotten before. The clearance opens the door for a lot of work opportunities within government. And one of the perks, or one of the several perks that you get with the clearance when you're doing these kind of operations with the government, is travel. Your travel's paid for. All my tickets were paid for. They were booked through a group called Paragon, and they would book my flights. And I was traveling 220 some odd days out of the year, going to different sites with this team, and we were doing these exercises that would last a week, week and a half, 2 weeks sometimes. And I was flying civilian airlines, and so I was getting all these airline miles. I was flying American, I was flying, all these places, United, accruing all these points, becoming a frequent flyer, getting a gold or a silver standard or a platinum level traveler, which gave me first class tickets, which was heady. And then we were staying in Marriott hotels all the time, and those were all paid for. And so I was getting Marriott reward points and upgrades, and I was blowing through airports like you wouldn't believe. I was traveling. It was pretty cool. And so the perks were I was flying first class a lot. I was staying in hotels that were really nice. I had rental car service, which was Hertz, and I had huge amounts of points with Hertz because I was traveling so much in different cities and stuff. And all this built up into a level of professional comfort Not only was I in the club, that I had a Q clearance, and I was rubbing shoulders with a lot of special operations people, and we were doing all the side things that we needed to do, but I was becoming prideful of what I had, because I knew secrets. I knew things that other people didn't know. And I now see that in my 70s now, that I'm completely out of that kind of thing. I'm no longer part of that kind of work. Why older men, when they are getting close to leaving this life, why they divulge secrets? Because they have a corrosive nature. You can hold these things in so long. Now, I'm not talking about criminal secrets. I'm talking about things that you know that the general public just doesn't know. I know a lot about nuclear power facilities. I know a lot about their security protocols. I would never talk about those things because those are all protocols and I sign paperwork. But my point is on this is that it's a mindset of secrecy, which led me into the book I'm talking about today, Government Secrets, Men Who Hold These Secrets. There is a very famous case of a CIA director who died probably in the early 80s, and he had brain cancer. And there was a doctor who came on a program and talked about this director and this brain cancer he had. And believe it or not, this doctor made the association with this brain cancer, with this stress of the CIA director holding secrets. Probably very, very important national security secrets. It affected him physically. I don't know if I believe it or not, but it was on a program about that kind of thing. And what I have deduced from that is that maybe those things are true. Maybe holding secrets on levels of either government or whatever is just not good for a person. Hence, my writing. I have channeled that angst of holding these secrets and holding this information for years. And now I'm in my 70s, and those days are long gone, and I'm no longer a hero in my own mind. I'm just an old guy who's been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, and I've moved on. That life has left me, and I will never be that person again. And as I get closer to the finish line of my life, I realize that I'm not 9 foot tall. I got bad knees, bad vision, and I've gotten old. So the secrets that I had that I will never divulge as they relate to what I did for a living, I can channel those feelings into my writing. And what I wrote is this book, Barium Box. It's about military and government espionage and about men who keep massive secrets that have changed world events. I understand these men. When I worked for the Department of Energy, when I worked for DOE, there was a tremendous amount of hubris and, dare I say, unchecked ego within the ranks of the people I worked with, supervisors. I'm not dinging them. I'm not slamming them. It's just a fact. And they drew power, internal power, from knowing things and then being rewarded by it, by being in those positions of authority. And it changes their personalities. I can tell you that when I met supervisors in that field who had gotten out of the field and were now civilians like me, they were different people. Not in that club anymore. they became real. That's why you hear about all these deathbed confessions about men who had positions of power, spilling the beans, as it were, about what was really going on. Because they had held that for so long. They had had that in their soul, whatever it was, and they had to get it out. And it was cathartic, and it was healing for them to get that out of their system. I have channeled that into Barium Box, which I wrote several years ago. The reviews have been very good on it. It's all 5-star. Again, it just shows you that God has got a really funny sense of humor to give somebody like me the ability to write a book that people enjoy and learn something from. It's quite amazing. But I got to thinking about it, and it's about secrets. And I carry those secrets, but I'm able to get them out in writing. I'm able to channel that feeling, not the secrets themselves, but the feeling they carry, the power they carry. Because frankly, I don't want the power of secrets controlling my life. You should not let the power of secrets control your life. Now, I'm not talking about if you're a government employee and you've got a secrecy oath and you're carrying a top secret clearance and you've got to divulge that stuff. I'm talking about personal secrets that can eat away at your personality, your joy, and your relationships. That's why writing is so important. You don't have to say the secret, but you can exercise the feeling those secrets do to you in writing. That's why I'm encouraging you as a writer to do this. Again, I'm a nobody. I'm an old wannabe, I guess. But I have the ability now to exercise those feelings in writing and get them out. And I'm nothing special. I'm just like you. I don't have any secrets to life other than the fact of what I've learned about myself. I would never presume to tell you, this is the way to go. All I can tell you is what I have experienced. I'm a lantern carrier on my path, and I can show you my path and let you decide what you want to do. But in this time when men especially are kind of lost about who they are and what they are and where they fit in this grand play of life, look into yourself. And if you're carrying something that you know is corrosive, spiritually, emotionally, get rid of it. And the best way to do that, start writing. Journal. Put it in writing and then hide the journal. So when you die and your in-laws are going through your sock drawer, they find it. Maybe it'll show them a pathway to get out of whatever they're going through. So I want you to take heart and realize whatever you're going through, whatever secrets you're holding, whatever angst you feel, you don't have to hang on to it. I know that I was prideful when I was in the club. And I know that pride and that shield I had around me because I had that Q clearance and I was part of the group and I was flying the first class and I was staying in the hotels and I had the expense accounts. I thought I was growing when in fact it was a cage. It was a box that I was in that didn't allow me to grow past the guys in my club, my group. It insulated me from the world because I was on the inside. So I understand the political climate of men with power and secrets. I understand it. And I know that it's not forever. I know that it ends. Being in the club ends someday. The wisdom, as you get older, is recognizing that. It's recognizing that. Burying Box is a book I wrote about this, about how men of power control the lives of many, how they keep secrets that have controlled the lives of many. And it was a very, very purging, cathartic thing for me to write it. I want to encourage you to take a look at it. Burying Box. It's a deep psychological study about men holding national security secrets. It's fiction. It's a great read. It's adventure. There's bad guys, good guys, world-changing events. It's a lot of fun. Spend a lot of time researching it and then pouring what I know about government secrets and how they make you feel and how much power they give you emotionally into these characters. So, take a look at it. But before you do that, look into yourself and try to purge those things that are keeping you from moving on. Because whatever you're going through, it's not going to last. That club you're in is going to end. Those credentials you have that hard-earned, and I'm not slamming them, will eventually go away. And then you're left with yourself. Sometimes being alone with yourself is the hardest thing you can do. It's amazing what age does. How introspective it makes you. I have gotten to that point. Introspective. I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for watching my YouTube videos. I feel better every time I do one. And I know you're out there listening. Get off your couch, get your laptop, get a pencil, and start writing. Start journaling, start making stories, start getting all that out. Get it out. Because when you take that last breath and you step into those gates of heaven, you don't want to carry any baggage. Let it all go now. You'll feel better for it. Again, thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you hear. Thumbs down, a reaction. Subscribe. That would help me out. Because I'm trying to build something here for you. I'm trying to build something. With that, as I always say out there, if you cannot be safe, be sanitary. William Clark for the Last Stand Podcast, out.